Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Never Seen It. My name is Betsy, and I'm here with Trent.
Hey, Betsy.
Trent, the listeners might be a little confused right now because we're supposed to be in the throes of Oscar right now.
Well, we are. We're watching Oscar-nominated movies, right?
Vaguely. Yeah, basically the long and short of it is we had 4 Oscar movies to watch and 5 weeks to go before Oscar Sunday. So that left us with a decision. We could have just filled it with another movie from 2024, but we've been doing that for the last 2 months. And frankly, Trent had a really stupid idea, and we decided to ride with it. If you were paying attention
I'm nodding my head. Yes, I did.
If you were paying attention last week, we recently watched one of the Best Picture nominees, A Complete Unknown, a biopic about Bob Dylan. And Trent thought it would be a good time to watch a different biopic, specifically one that is making fun of the biopic genre.
And really, this movie got inspired by the Johnny Cash movie Walk the Line. That came out in 2005. This came out in 2007, so it's related.
And of course, the name of the movie we are watching today is Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story.
Of course.
So I'm hosting this because I have seen this movie before. I saw this movie in the theater.
Oh my God.
I was very excited to see this one. And somehow in all of our years together, Trent and I have never actually sat down to watch this movie.
No, it's another one of these Judd Apatow written movies. He did not direct it though. However, I looked up this director and holy shit, has he done some other movies that I really like.
You know, the filmmakers are people that you appreciate. The writers, the actors, everybody involved.
I like the humor of this movie. I like the actors. The guy who directed it also directed one of my favorite movies from the era, Orange County. If you do not like Orange County, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, or at least you didn't grow up in the early 2000s.
You literally tweeted about it like a week ago, 2 weeks ago by the time this comes out.
Yeah, and I watched the movie that night.
Because you love it and you watch it all the time.
I love Orange County.
But we're not talking about Orange County. We are talking about Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story. So this came out in 2007. You and I were at slightly different places. I was just graduating from college at that point.
Yep.
You were already in full swing of adulthood because you didn't graduate college. You were already, out in the world working.
I had a full-time job, and I was gearing up to buy a house in 2009.
So was this around the time you were working nights? Is that why maybe you didn't see this? Or is it just something you didn't care about in 2007?
I didn't really go to a lot of movies in this day. Like my prime movie watching was between 2000 and about 2005 before I dropped out of college. So in 2006, I had started my full-time job that I had before my current job. And like you said, in that job, I didn't work nights, but I worked overtime. I worked like minimum 10-hour days, 12-hour days, 14-hour days sometimes. And I made a lot of overtime and still didn't really make a lot of money. So my time was pretty much taken up.
So there's really no other reason to why you haven't watched this other than we just haven't done it yet.
We just haven't done it yet. It's been on the list forever. Maybe the reason why I haven't sought it out is because, hey, maybe it was going to be very, very stupid, and I'm sure it is. But, hey, because we did A Complete Unknown, we talked about the formulaic nature of these biopic movies, and we're going to talk more about this after we watch the movie. But because of the nature of that Bob Dylan movie, I had to force this in here. There's really no other place to put it. There's no series we could put this in that I could think of. So here we go.
So that all being said, you know it's a biopic. You know that the prime inspiration is the Johnny Cash movie Walk the Line.
Yeah.
What else do you know about Walk Hard?
So it's John C. Reilly as the character. I know that it is going to cover a lot more of the man's life. Obviously, this is a fictional story.
Is it, Trent?
Is it? I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot of other returning champions from the Judd Apatow movie universe. And I know that this movie not only parodies Johnny Cash, but a whole lot of other musicians over the years. Like Dewey Cox embodies all of music as far as I'm concerned.
He is making fun of all musicians and all biopics. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. But other than that, I fully believe that this is going to be that formula, even though in 2007 it didn't really exist yet.
it was still being, I think, fine-tuned. Like, we had a lot of them around this time, because this is also around the era that Ray came out. Like, that was the early 2000s. And we sort of were in a phase of doing a lot of these movies.
And a lot of these movies got nominated for Best Fucking Picture. And almost all of them have.
And a lot of the people starring got nominated for Best Actor. And it was just sort of a thing. So you understand why somebody came around and said, you know what we need right now?
Yeah, these movies fucking suck. Let's have some fun here.
That's maybe not a fair statement.
No.
But if you're getting sick to death of seeing
I think that's
them,
what it is. It is a comedic writer's opportunity to have some fun with it. That's their attitude. I like Walk the Line. I like Bohemian Rhapsody. I even kind of liked the movie we just did last week. But I can also have fun with it as well.
Yeah, and for every really good one, there's usually 2 to 3 only okay or actively bad
Like,
ones.
we haven't seen Rocket Man.
We haven't seen that. We haven't seen Better Man, which is the Robbie Williams one I keep bringing up.
I haven't seen Ray.
I also haven't seen Ray, oddly enough.
Okay.
But then there's other ones like, there's one called Cadillac Records, which is about, it's more about like the people who worked through this record studio, the recording studio.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a lot of people. And I think Beyonce plays Etta James or somebody.
Okay.
Long story short, it's not a very good movie, and she's not very good in it.
We also covered that Elvis movie for the Oscars a couple of years ago.
Yep, same thing.
Again, there's a lot of these out there.
They'll never die.
I honestly, before I even watched this movie, I want a sequel to Dewey Cox.
You'll just say it right now.
Yeah, just give me a sequel. I don't care. Where is he now?
Well, I guess we'll have to go and watch this movie for you to find out what the story of Dewey Cox is, if a sequel even would make sense.
Maybe he's dead. I don't know.
I don't even honestly remember, because I haven't seen this movie in a long time, because I've been waiting to watch it with you. So my moment has come at last. We're going to go and watch Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story, and we will be right back. And we're back. That was Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story. Now, Trent, I was in the room with you while we were watching the movie.
Yes,
so
you were.
I obviously know, I have a sense of how you felt about it, but why don't you tell our listeners what you thought of this movie?
Betsy, that was maybe one of the funniest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life.
I have not seen this movie probably since before you and I started dating.
Definitely.
And I forgot how genuinely hysterical this movie is.
Oh my God.
I was in tears multiple times because this movie is fucking insane.
Yeah, and just to go along with what we've been talking about here, it knows what it's trying to do, and I wasn't kidding when I said that Judd Apatow and the director, he's the other writer here, I wasn't kidding when I said they were inspired by Walk the Line, because it just follows that to a T, but it just amps it up so much in the Judd Apatow way, the only way that they know how, along with John C. Reilly. Oh my God, this guy. I don't understand why he is not getting like every comedic role and every dramatic role in the world. He's amazing.
So this is one of the rare times John C. Reilly actually gets to be the lead in a movie.
He's always second fiddle to fucking Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he's either paired up with Will Ferrell and he's trying to steal screen time from that guy.
Yeah.
Or he's just a secondary player. And in 2007, it was how many years? He'd probably already been making movies for almost 20 years at this point. Because I saw him in a movie in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever saw John C. Reilly. And he is a really, really hardworking actor. And this is a movie that so well features the scope of what this man can do.
The guy is talented as hell. He knows how to be in a comedic scene, not only in the entire movie, but just how to not let on that this is fucking stupid. This is goofy. And you should be laughing at this hysterically. But no, he's just fucking stone-faced.
He's so committed to the bit and playing it dramatically while playing it comedically.
Yeah.
And he got nominated for a Golden Globe for this.
He should have.
Thank fucking God. I was wondering, I'm watching this movie going, this movie is so funny. It is so hysterical. What happened with this movie? And you read, it bombed.
It bombed.
It
made
bombed at the box
it
office.
made half of its money back at the box office.
Which is a fucking travesty. I really, really hope that if our listeners are out there and have not watched this movie, but are for some reason listening to this episode, that they will go seek this out. Or if you haven't seen it in a long time, go rewatch it because it's really, really funny and he is so good in it, and the fact that it bombed is really disappointing, but I get it because John C. Reilly is not exactly a household name in 2007, nor is he now.
No, he's really not, and I think it goes back to what you just said. He was always the second fiddle. People are asking, where's Will Ferrell? Why isn't he in this at all?
Or someone like that.
Yeah, well, you really don't need him. John C. Reilly can absolutely carry this movie, and he did. But I want to say this before we get into talking about the movie itself. Be aware, we watched the extended cut. This has an extra 24 minutes worth of footage here.
Yeah, it's like a 90-minute movie normally, and this is like a 2-hour movie.
It is 2 hours on the nose. Oh my God.
And I genuinely cannot tell you the parts that are in the theatrical cut versus the stuff that's added for this version.
It's been over a decade since you've seen it.
I have no idea anymore.
But that kind of goes along with a lot of Judd Apatow movies. They shoot so much, and I don't know if it's him or the studio telling him to cut it down for, a comedy length. Comedies are usually about 90 minutes.
But all that to say, if we make reference to something and you're like, I don't remember that in the movie, it's probably because you haven't seen this version. So you made reference to it. The primary influence for this movie is Walk the Line. So at the time this movie came out, I had not seen Walk the Line.
What? What?
Now, this came out in 2007. That came out in 2005. For whatever reason, I hadn't watched it. I wasn't that serious about the Oscars at that point. I hadn't gotten to that phase of my life.
I suppose, yeah.
And why the fuck, when I'm 22, did I think I wanted to watch a movie about Johnny Cash?
Okay, though. That's where you and I differ. I grew up in a house that absolutely loved Johnny Cash.
Okay, fair.
My dad loved Johnny Cash. So, hey, the rare time that my house actually watched an Oscar-nominated movie, that was one of them. I saw it early on.
So you probably saw it as soon as it was out on home video.
I think so.
In 2005,
They probably rented it from Blockbuster or whatever the equivalent was at the time. And we watched it at home and we all liked it. I remember really liking it.
So you had seen that movie. Have you seen it a number of times?
Oh, yeah.
Had you seen it enough times to actually watch this and go, I see exactly what they are doing with the parallels?
It has been a very long time since I've seen Walk the Line, in its entirety anyway, but I've seen it enough times to really know what they're doing.
Okay, so here's my perspective, because I didn't have that at all.
Yeah, you've seen Walk the Line once, you told me.
I had not seen it before I watched Dewey Cox's movie. And then I finally, years after the fact, I don't know exactly when, but it was years after, I was like, I should really watch Walk the Line. And it struck me just how much they took that movie as the base and then just inserted their own story to it, beat for beat. There are parts of this movie that are identical. And the thing that I always remembered from this movie, from Walk Hard, that made me laugh hysterically when I got to Walk the Line was the fucking running gag with the sinks.
The sinks, yes.
Because
the more you started talking about it, the more I remembered, yes, he actually does do that
so
in that movie.
In Walk the Line, Johnny Cash is having a hard time, and I think it only happens once. He gets really frustrated, he goes into a bathroom, he rips the sink off a wall.
If I'm remembering correctly, it's like they're having a fight or something like that, and every time Dewey Cox does it, it's after he has a fight or he's having a fight or breaking up with his woman.
And they just keep amping up that joke. Every time he destroys something, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, as any good comedy does.
Of
because
course.
You have to make the joke, and then you have to layer on top of the joke.
Yeah.
So he rips a sink off the wall. one time, it's funny. He does it again, it's funnier. He does it a third time, it's really funny. And then at the end of the movie, there's a montage where he rips several sinks off the wall in a row.
Well, in addition to that, he's also like completely destroying his entire living room down to the fact that he is taking a saw to the back of his couch and flipping up a grand piano.
I like how it escalated too. It was first a guitar. He couldn't write a song. So he smashed a guitar.
Yep.
Then he flipped a grand piano, and then he's playing a harp for some reason.
Yes.
And it's so like quintessential stupid comedy where it's like just a sight gag for the audience. Like, what is dumber? We have to double down on this stupid joke.
What other instrument could he destroy that would be funny?
And that is such a trope of biopics and these kinds of movies where they're on drugs, they are having fights, they're having issues with their inner demons.
Yeah, their internal problems are manifesting outside of themselves and they can't deal with it except through drugs and women and fights.
And it starts innocently enough, but then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and going down this road. So I just laugh so fucking hard when I'm watching this movie because they're so extra about everything. Like, Tim Meadows is in this as his drummer, and he keeps opening the door, and of course it's the drummer. Like, it's always the fucking drummer, right? Yeah. And he opens the door, and Tim Meadows is like, "Get out of here, Dewey. You don't want no part of this shit."
Every time.
Every time.
And first, it escalates, and again, it escalates, and it escalates.
It's doubling down on the joke. First, it's weed.
Yeah, and he's questioning, "Oh, man, that really sounds expensive. Man, this is the cheapest shit you could ever have. Oh, I really think that's going to be addictive. Man, it's not habit forming at all.
I don't want to have a hangover." It doesn't give you a hangover. I'm starting to think I do want a part of this shit. And then it turns into cocaine, which turns into,
pills, uppers and downers,
which turns into like LSD, which turns into PCP. It's just everything he could do in this movie. He is doing it.
But Betsy, he beats all of it.
He beats all of it.
Every single drug.
Because once again, when following the formula of a biopic, you have to pick. We literally talk about this every time we do one of these kinds of movies. You are either dropped in a point in time in their life and you follow them for a while, or we do the entire scape of their life, where we start from the time they're kids all the way to the time they're adults.
Yeah, all of the milestones.
When we watched Elvis, he is a kid, and we see his origins, his early days, as he grows up, his wife, his drugs, his kids, all of that.
This movie is very much an Elvis movie.
Yes, this one is more like that, where we get him in like the fucking small town in the 1940s.
Yeah, in the Elvis one, he's going into these fucking revival tents and being inspired from the black music.
Because we have to see how these musicians learn things. That's what's so dumb about these, is when you're like beating the audience over the head with how they are inspired to come up with their sound. Like, where did it come from? We must, as the audience and the filmmakers, explore this so that you really get a sense of who this person is and why they sounded the way they did. And it just goes from the time he's a kid to the time he is an old man and has like the Lifetime Achievement Award. We get the entire Dewey Cox story. And you had asked in the intro, maybe we should get a sequel.
We're not going to get a sequel, Betsy. I'm so sad.
We're not going to get a sequel because two reasons. One, he died 3 minutes after the Lifetime Achievement. Yep. And two, if you stick around through the credits.
That's right.
They actually give you like an inside joke. That's how hard they lean into this joke.
You have to watch every single fucking second of this film.
You wait till the end of the credits and you see this black and white footage from, quote, 2002 of the real Dewey Cox.
But they don't even show you the image first. You hear another person's voice.
A foreign voice. You don't know
singing.
Who this is.
You don't have any idea who's singing. And then they fade up in this black and white image of a guy sitting on a stool. And there's text there that says, "The real Dewey Cox, circa 2002. And it's just some fucking guy.
Yep, it's just a guy. They lean so hard into the joke that it's like making you question at the end credits. Wait, is this real?
Wait, Dewey Cox? Really?
Did he really? Who? How did I not know about this man?
Who's singing?
It's a very elaborate bit for this movie. It's so elaborate, and they lean so hard into it. And it goes beyond this movie, Trent. I'm sure you've never heard this, but when the movie came out, despite the fact that in the movie, canonically, he dies, John C. Reilly went on tour as Dewey Cox in a costume with a band, and he sang the music of Dewey Cox on tour.
Nope, never heard of this.
Yeah, this was a big promotional thing. I don't remember how many cities he went to, but I definitely remember he did this.
Wow.
And I don't know if it was before the movie came out or maybe it was after while they were campaigning, because obviously, come awards season, it got nominated for a couple of Golden Globes. They might have been hoping for more than that, but really that's their best bet for this kind of movie.
That's the thing. It's never probably, at least back in this day, this is before they expanded it to 10 movies, by the way.
For the Academy Awards, sure.
Yes. But if they were campaigning for an Oscar, hey, you can maybe at least get an original song nomination.
And it did at the Golden Globes. So that's why I'm saying maybe the tour thing was more about that.
Well, Golden Globes, they also have categories for comedy.
Yes.
So that absolutely belongs there. But I might say, Betsy, I'm so glad that I picked this movie. And you wanted me to not pick this movie.
No, it's not that I didn't want to cover this movie. It's just like, it feels so weird doing it right now.
It's a hard turn, and that's what we do.
But we do enjoy a hard left turn, so here we are.
Yes, so, yes, I am very, very happy that we are doing this movie and that we did this movie. Oh, man.
As we were watching it, it became more and more apparent how apropos this choice was.
It's insane.
In a bizarre turn of events.
We not only had a reference to him being up on stage, singing about little people, and saying that someday their time will come when they remake The Wizard of Oz.
Yes, contextually, he's doing a protest song in the 1960s, and he decides to stand up for little people, which, again, it's so inappropriate, but it's hysterical in the movie.
It is, and right prior to that, he's in his Bob Dylan phase.
And he's ripping off Bob Dylan.
Oh my fucking God.
Literally dressed as Bob Dylan, singing a fucking song.
Sounding like Bob Dylan, singing a completely nonsense song like Bob Dylan.
Well, and wasn't there a moment in this movie where the fans were like getting mad or like, you don't understand his genius or something like that? And I was like, it's kind of like the thing you said about how you can't stand Bob Dylan fans.
Well, it's one of the band members say, no, this is amazing. You just don't understand. I think it was Tim Meadows that said that.
You just don't get his genius. Yeah, it was something to that effect. But there were a couple of things like that throughout this movie where I'm like, oh shit. Of all the things that could have been said in this movie, the fact that 2 of the Academy Award nominated movies this cycle,
this fucking year that we've done in the past like 2 months,
relevance to what we just watched. That's really freaky.
And not only the movies that we've already covered, Betsy, but when they're talking about his television show, it is being beaten by the Incredible Hulk TV show. And one of the recent episodes that got really good ratings is when they reveal that Hulk has a twin brother, and this one's red. What?
And we're less than a month away from the new Captain America featuring the Red Hulk.
What the fuck?
Of all the things, of all the very specific things.
And I tell you this with 100% honesty, when we cover movies like this, it's not because we planned it. I had no idea what was in this movie, and you haven't seen it for like 15 years.
No, you just wanted to watch it because it's making fun of biopics.
Yes.
And it does it exceptionally well.
This was going to be my fucking revenge movie by having to watch the Bob Dylan movie. I am so happy.
Well, we have many, many things to talk about, but we quickly have to just take a word from our sponsor, so we'll be right back.
Critics everywhere are raving about patreon.com/neverseenitpod. Superfan Stephanie says, all this for $5 a month? Incredible. Phineas Butterfield of the New England Journal of Medicine calls it available content. Betsy's grandma says, what's a podcast? Don't miss your chance to experience this phenomenon. Join today.
So this movie strikes all of the chords that must be struck when doing a biopic.
Chords.
Specifically, he has a dark past. Something traumatic happens to him when he is a child. And the movie opens. Well, first of all, the movie opens at the Lifetime Achievement Awards with him in the shadows leaning against the wall, which again is straight out of Walk the Line.
Yeah.
Where his drummer says, "Leave him be. Dewey Cox has to remember his entire life story before he performs."
That's right.
So we go back all the way to when he is a child, and we find out that he had an older brother who tragically died when Dewey macheted him in half.
Right? This kid was a piano savant, and he just keeps on dreaming about his long, long life that he's for sure gonna have.
And they're gonna go play because I have a long life and nothing bad could ever happen.
That's
and
right.
they set it up so brilliantly.
Yes.
There's rattlesnakes.
You know exactly
and
what this movie
horses.
is just based on this one little scene.
They're playing with fire, and it's just every dangerous thing they can do.
He makes a metal giraffe.
Yes, he does. I forgot that later Dewey gets a giraffe, and that's probably why.
Yes.
But yes, they decide to have a sword fight, and Dewey accidentally machetes his brother in half.
It's so easy, Betsy.
It's very easy. But his dad then has a strange relationship with him the rest of his life because the wrong kid died.
But first, the doctor comes and he says he's cut in half and I can't. And the dad says, "Speak English. I can't understand what you're saying."
So this is the thing about how people in a biopic, like, they don't get along with a parent. Like,
Sure.
usually it's the dad.
There's a strained relationship.
Yeah, they don't understand my music. I have to strike out on my own, but I love my mom, but mom has to die. So mom dies tragically, which I'm sure this has something to do with Elvis. Because if you
Yeah.
remember the Elvis movie, or if you just know anything about Elvis, Elvis loved his mama. Like, that is a through and through truth. That man loved his mom. And that is something with Dewey. Like, he loves his mama. And she dies because she has vertigo, trips over a radio cord, falls out of a window, and then the radio slams her in the head. So these are the things that Dewey is dealing with. The accidental death of his brother at his own hand. His dad's refusal to accept that it was an accident, and he's been shunning him his whole life. And then his mother dies.
Yeah, the wrong brother died, the wrong
The
son
wrong
died.
kid died.
And the entire fucking movie, down to when Dewey finally comes back to confront his father, he is singing, the father is singing in the barn about how the wrong kid died just to himself.
The wrong kid died. The wrong kid died. And he's been training this whole time.
He's been training to how to sword fight, machete fight up until this moment when, again, he machetes himself in half.
I didn't realize up until this moment how easy it really
Right.
is to
Yeah.
accidentally machete yourself in half.
And this is the moment where he finally realizes and apologizes to Dewey. And yeah.
And he doesn't talk about it. Dewey keeps that inside and doesn't tell people, but it slips out. Like, there's moments like when he's on LSD and PCP and he's trying to write this song, this opus in the 1960s, and it's trippy and it's huge, and he keeps singing about chopping someone in half and no one understands what the hell he's talking
It's a
about.
metaphor. It's a secret.
It's
That's
a
what
secret.
a metaphor means. And yeah, we get all these time jumps. And of course, he's at his high school, I guess, talent show where you show him from behind. He turns around. Hey, it's my 14-year-old son.
And it's John C.
It's
Reilly.
just John C. Reilly.
That, again, is a trope where they have them playing much, much younger. Now,
Yeah.
in A Complete Unknown, Timothée Chalamet is 29, 27. I don't remember how old
Yeah,
that
he's
guy
within
is.
10 years.
But he's playing 19. Okay, you're a grown man who has a boyish face playing a
it's
younger man.
Timothée Chalamet.
That's fine. But sometimes you do get these movies where they are clearly a grown-ass man and they're playing 19. I would bring up another biopic I just remembered that was around this time, A Beautiful Mind. where Russell
Yeah,
Crowe
yeah.
is like a 40-year-old man playing a 20-year-old man.
Yeah, they put him in the different kind of clothing, so that helped.
And in that
they all-
era, everybody looks like an old man because of,
True.
that's just how things were.
Right, and they also age him all the way up. Same thing with Jennifer Connelly. They age her up all the way, and the same thing happens with Jenna Fisher in this movie.
But it's that kind of a thing where it doesn't make any sense for you to be playing yourself
No,
at that age.
that's the joke.
You couldn't get a kid. You couldn't get a teen.
That's why they said it. They called it out. Hey, it's my 14-year-old son.
That was my favorite thing about this movie because he's 14 there. And then by the time he's doing drugs, he's like 35.
Sure.
And John C. Reilly at this point was already in his 40s. It
Right.
makes absolutely no goddamn sense whatsoever.
But they're at the talent show. He does the thing, and he starts playing his songs, and all the young people start to get up and dance, and all of the adults are screaming, "This is the devil's music. You need to stop."
One of the things I constantly reference from this movie is the old preacher who says, "You know who has hands? The devil.
The devil.
You know what he uses them for? Holding."
Holding things.
It's such a stupid line, but for some reason that one has stuck with me.
One of the things that I wrote down.
For 15 plus years, I constantly think about, you know who has hands? The devil. And it just jumps very quickly. So he's a teenager.
He's 14 with his 12-year-old girlfriend,
His parents
Kristen
don't
Wiig.
understand. So he and Kristen Wiig move along and then immediately start a family. And she just starts popping out kids. Before you know it, it's been 2 years and she has 5 children.
Right.
Mathematically, it makes no sense.
No.
By the end of the movie, he has 36 children with 4 different women or some insane thing.
Yes.
So they play with things like that where you know what the timeline is, but you don't. But they are not reverent towards it at all.
No, it doesn't matter. That's what makes it funny.
That's why it's funny. And he just has this meteoric rise. And it's just every different style of music that they could cram into this movie.
Yeah, and they were referencing so many different musical artists of the time, and even modern stuff they're throwing in here and sometimes. Like the first time he goes into the studio is apparently a reference to Elvis. The first time he went to go to record a record, he wanted to apparently sound like Dean Martin. So that's why he was saying Amore in this.
But they're also playing on Johnny Cash because in Walk the Line, he starts singing, I don't know if it's Ring of Fire or one of those things where
No,
he's like,
that comes later.
well, I don't know which song it is. All I know is it's like he tells the band, just go along with me. And
Yeah, he's
everybody's
also-
amazed.
Yeah, and John C. Reilly is actually wearing the same thing I think that Johnny Cash wears. It's this blue jacket thing.
Or very similar to it.
It's very similar. And in A Complete Unknown, the one we just covered with Bob Dylan, he's in there recording an album of covers. He's singing a cover. Amore is a cover.
That's how these guys got their start because they wouldn't trust you on these big record labels to put out your own music unless you've proven yourself. And most people at this point, they just were like, well, you're a talented person. Let's see what you can do if we try to shove you into a box. We have to find the niche for you.
Yeah, and this is also, it's related to the whole folk music thing because there's a whole lot of folk music that is just, it's community. They're community songs. These songs don't belong to anybody.
They're standards.
Yeah, everybody knows this, so we want to hear what you sound like singing songs that we already know.
Honestly, the only version of this that really still exists now is Christmas music.
Yeah.
Everybody throws out a Christmas album because they fucking sell like crazy. Why? Because we are stupid humans who love hearing different people interpret the same song 1,000 times.
Yeah, Mariah Carey is the only person that can get away with an original Christmas song and, make $1 billion from it.
Everybody else is cranking out originals and it's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Your album's okay. It's
That
okay.
Bare Naked Ladies Hanukkah song is pretty good.
You get about one
One a
out
decade.
of a decade, where you get a good version of one.
Yeah.
But that's just pretty true to the story of how you're trying a sound and then you have to make it your own. But they're really, again, very literal. Son, you've blown it. And unless you sing a song that is so symbolic and earth-shattering in the next 15 seconds, you've got nothing. Cut to, here's a song that's going around the nation that was recorded 35 minutes ago by Dewey Cox. and it's Walk Hard. And everybody's just like, wow, what a song. It's amazing.
Yeah, literally people are coming from the street and trying to like raid the recording studio because they just heard it. He's still in there.
And as the movie goes on, he gets more famous, which means he gets into more drugs, which means he goes through a dark period. And he says, this is a really dark period. This is a really fucking dark period.
God damn, is this a dark fucking period?
It's shit like that where you know what kind of movie this is because they know what kind of movies this is coming from.
Yeah. And honestly, it is just hearkening to what movies like this, what musical biopics were going to be for the next 20 years.
What they're always probably going to be. Honestly.
Why would they stop? All of them keep on getting nominated for Best Picture.
The ones that are serious about themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. But then you're also getting the ones that are actually really good. I have heard Rocket Man is an exceptional movie. Like, there are people who fucking love Rocket Man. I keep bringing up Better Man. We have not watched it yet. But the fact it works, it doesn't sound like the kind of movie on paper. Or even when we watched the trailer, we were like, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah.
Why? Because they are taking away the lesson from movies like this. They are looking at Walk the Line and Ray and A Beautiful Mind and the ones that are sometimes musicians, some that are not musicians, but it's the same formula. We're taking the structure and we're going to do it over and over and over again.
But the writers and director of this movie had only a couple of things to really go off of, and they fucking nailed it. They knew what the formula was before anybody else had it.
But this is why I'm saying when you take the idea and you say, but throw out the fucking formula. Like, we're going to take the formula and then say, but what if we did it this way instead? And those are the most interesting ones, which is Rocket Man is not your traditional kind of biopic.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
That is what I understand. Better Man, sure as shit, is not.
Well, they're taking that format and applying it this weird filter of, hey, it's kind of a dance movie as well with this CG character that nobody is reacting to the fact that he's a fucking monkey.
Yeah, I think it's the thing of it's a musical versus a musical biopic.
Right.
Like this is like we just watched this movie. It is a biopic with songs in it.
Right. It is not a musical.
It is not a musical because if the songs are happening like within you, if you're bursting into song, that is a musical. If you are doing it in a way that makes no fucking sense,
it's no Team America.
No, Team America is a musical in more of a sense than this movie is.
Yeah.
But all that to say, it is a genre ripe for ridicule, which is why Walk Hard exists, why it is so effective. But another thing that makes it so effective is they are so good with the songs and who they put in this movie. So I want to talk about this because we could spend hours just talking about all the stupid shit in this movie.
Yeah, and we're not going to do that. Otherwise, we would be here for hours.
We would be here for hours. Like, I was honestly every 10 seconds going, oh my God, that person's in this movie. That person's in this movie. People I didn't know who they were when the movie came out.
Sure.
I look at it now going, why is Phil Rosenthal from Somebody Feed Phil in this movie? But we're not going to do that. Instead, I want to talk specifically about John C. Reilly.
Yes.
And his ability as a singer.
Oh my fucking God.
Because you've never seen Chicago.
I haven't.
So this is the first time, I believe, you have ever heard John C. Reilly sing.
Really sing.
Like
I can't really tell you if he's sung in anything else in the past, but that first time he was up on stage singing the entirety of his, I think it was the Walk Hard song.
So I think the one that really got you was A Life Without Love. I don't know. I don't remember what it was called, but it was the one he wrote for his wife, where he just gets really high and he goes, Alive Without Love. Yeah, that one. And he is fully belting. And you even just a little bit into it when he was starting to sing it, you were like, he's really good. And I said,
oh, just wait.
Yeah. Because he gets like to a belt note and holds it way out. Yeah. And you're just like, holy shit, this guy is talented. And if you have seen Chicago and you know a little bit about Chicago.
And I know he sings in Chicago.
You would already have known that.
Yeah.
As somebody who has not seen Chicago, I know you are not going to know this about him.
But again, at the same time, I knew he was in that today. I mean, I wouldn't have known that back in 2007 if I saw this movie, because I still haven't seen Chicago.
So in that song in this movie, though, I think that is like the most he is singing, like where you're just like, wow, like
Yeah, he's wowing you.
We are not fucking around with the vocals in this, but he sings so many songs. There's like a dozen,
Yeah,
like
there's
12, 15 songs in this movie.
In the credits, I mean, we were laughing a bunch at what we were still listening to, because there's more songs in the credits.
We didn't turn it off. We just kept rolling through the credits because he just kept singing.
But my point is, there are so many song credits in here.
And he helped write a lot of them. Did you notice that?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he is a credit. And then the two guys, I would have to look up who they are specifically, but I know one of them, Mike Viola, I think he was one of the singers who sang in That Thing You Do. I think he's the guy who sang That Thing You Do.
Okay.
So Adam Schlesinger wrote that song.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Mike Viola is the one who sang the song.
All right.
So another like really, in this kind of line of work, a very reliable, well-known guy. He's not a household name, but he's one of those dudes, if you look at his career, you're like, wow, you had a hand in a lot of things that I've heard of before.
I mean, as long as we're talking about the music here, Betsy, I'm not lying when I tell you that I kind of want to get this soundtrack.
You should absolutely get this soundtrack.
I want to get this soundtrack and listen to all of it so that I could get all of the lyrics and everything else, because it sounds good. The music, too, is really good, not just the songs.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where, yes, there are songs that are cheeky. There's the one when he meets Darlene and he's married, but they have this undeniable attraction.
Right.
And the song is called Let's Duet.
Yes.
And it's all innuendo. And he's just like, honey, I've been blowing you some kisses and things like that, where it's a lot of double entendres. And that is the silliest song in the movie. But it's still a good song.
And not only is the song great, but it's all of the shit that they're doing on screen while they are singing. It's all of these other activities that they get into.
They get you the sexual innuendo and the tension between them. Because who doesn't spend time with their very good friend in a wood shop, like sawing wood and like, you know,
sanding,
thrusting with your sander.
Jerking off the leg of the chair.
Who doesn't do that with their very good friends?
I mean, hey, if I wasn't married and I was hanging out with Jenna Fisher, I would have some tension as well.
Fair enough.
Holy shit, Jenna Fisher. Okay, I mentioned this while we were watching the movie. Why didn't she do more? Why didn't they let her do more comedy and just more in general? I know she was on The Office forever and she got kind of not typecast, but people were used to her just being on that show and being that character. So maybe they didn't, I don't know, maybe Hollywood people just said, people are going to know you from that thing. We're not going to cast you.
It's the trouble with a show like The Office. It's sometimes really hard to escape it. And honestly, she's not even the only one in this movie who was on The Office. Ed Helms is in this movie.
Yep.
Craig Robinson is in this movie. They were both on The Office.
But they also had careers outside of that prior to The Office.
Yes, they were on other things. She has kind of become that girl from The Office.
Yeah, but she's also embraced that.
But this was in 2007 when it was still on the air. And it was like, okay, let's try to get her to make the leap into movies.
They also fucking like sexed her up a bunch.
They
Which,
did.
that's not what you would expect from, you know, the gal from The Office.
But she shouldn't be the gal from The Office. She should be Jenna Fisher, actress and comedian.
Yes.
And she's really good in this. She does not do her own singing. I don't think.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure that's not her singing. It doesn't really sound like what I would think her voice to sound like. I will look into this later. I'll fact check it, but I'm fairly confident it's not her singing. But yeah, she's like a little sex kitten who's just making eyes at him. And, you know, she's got Southern charm galore. And, you know, she is the June Carter of the movie.
Definitely.
And she is also great in this. She gets to do physical humor right alongside John C. Reilly, and she holds her own when the two of them are like, you know, licking ice cream cones inappropriately.
And like when she's on top of him in their bunk and she's saying all of these things directly to his face. basically saying, hey, we're two very good Christian people and we're not married, so we can't do anything like that. Ha ha ha. But then at the same time, she doesn't realize that he's married and has kids and a family and everything else. She didn't bother to ask or look into it.
Because they're such good friends for the last 3 weeks.
Or even listen to the lyrics of his fucking music.
Well, he did write a song about her. Like that thing you do, like he wrote...
Well, he wrote a song about his wife first.
He wrote a song called Darling with a G.
Yes.
But it sounds like Darlene.
Of course.
Oh, yeah?
There's also, that's the one where he says, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Darling, darling,
Yep,
darling.
That's the one. But he does remedy the situation because they get married, except he's already married, so he gets double married.
Double married.
Double married. You can do that, right? That's totally fine. He says, I'm famous. Doesn't that count for something?
Yes.
But yeah, going back to some of the other songs, like you got Walk Hard, you've got, what else was there? The Guilty as Charged when he's going through his bad phase.
Yeah.
And then when he's in his drug phase, he's doing this like opus, which I assume is some kind of an allusion to Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys, where it just turns into this large scale, like trippy, hippie music.
Yeah, it's after he goes to India and,
meets the Beatles.
And where he discovers LSD and opening up his mind. So he has to have 137 other musicians in this much, much larger sized Abbey Road type studio, which is also where his bandmates confront him and say, well, for one thing, Tim Meadows keeps on saying, man, you never paid for drugs once, not once.
And then there was that time you did this thing, and that time you did this thing, and you never paid for drugs. Not once.
Yeah, so his bandmates quit, and his girlfriend is about to break up with him because he's still on the drugs, but he literally takes a hit of PCP right as they're about to embrace and say, and him saying, no, I'm done with it. I'm going to quit all the drugs. Oops, I didn't. So I'm going to go outside on a PCP fucking bender and start throwing cars around.
And that's kind of the end of that really rough chapter of his life. And he finally figures out,
what a rough chapter of your life that we just entered.
I've got to be a better father, and I've got to reunite with my own father. And then it's just this long sequence where he gets out of the music game and he reconnects with his 36 children and plays catch with every single one of them.
Of course.
But then we find out that young people are rediscovering Dewey Cox because a modern rap star has sampled Walk Hard. So they're finding that Dewey Cox is kind of relevant again.
Yeah, he's re-entering the lexicon.
And they're going to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award. And they don't specifically say who. They just say, you're going to get the Lifetime Achievement Award.
No, Betsy, on the podium on stage, it says Lifetime Achievement Award. That's the show.
Yeah, there isn't a group. It's not the country music. It's not the American Music Awards. It's not the Grammys.
It's the Lifetime Achievement Award Awards.
With Jewel and Jackson Brown and Lyle Lovett and Eddie Vedder's there and Ghostface Killah, because why not?
Why not?
And to celebrate the occasion, he needs a song. And he needs a song that represents his entire life's journey. And it's a beautiful ride. And of course, we get this beautiful song, him as an old man singing it, played over a montage of the entire movie that we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
And if you weren't paying attention to the movie you just watched, you might actually be quite moved by this whole thing because the song is so actually very good.
I kind of was a little bit.
A little bit.
But then, of course, we get to the very, very end and it frames on him and it says, Dewey Cox died 3 minutes after this performance. Betsy, it's just like that Weird Al thing where he was assassinated on stage and his thing.
Another spoof of the biopic.
Absolutely. That's another one.
While also being a biopic. That one is unto itself a category because it's a meta and the guy who they're making a movie about is also in the movie.
It's about a real guy, but it's a fake story about a real guy.
Yeah. So I would say that movie and Walk Hard are the two that just stand apart as their own things entirely.
Yes, if you haven't seen the Weird Al movie called Weird, I highly recommend that you watch it. We covered it on the show, I don't know, 2-3 years ago.
When it was new.
When it was fairly new anyway. It was so fucking funny. This is funnier, though. This is funnier, though.
That's because this one leans so hard into it. It's really that thing where if we had watched the 90-minute version, I don't know if it would have added or detracted from this experience.
I feel like a lot of the really longer scenes, like them in the studio, that would have been probably half the length, at least.
And there are certain parts where it's just like, okay, now we're really milking this scene. Like we're stuck in the 70s for too long. We're stuck in the 80s.
All of the erotic dancing would have been cut by half. And all the stuff in the giant studio with all of those musicians would probably get cut. Yeah, there's a lot of things here that they throw in here, and maybe some of the really, really inappropriate stuff would not have been in the original cut.
Trent, I'm telling you right now, there is full frontal male nudity in this movie in the theatrical cut.
Of course.
I can assure you, I remember it on the giant movie screen because they keep cutting back to it.
Of course.
Because as you've said many times,
yes.
the male body is funny.
Yes, I have said that many times on this show and other shows. Filmmakers, you need to embrace, especially comedic filmmakers, you need to embrace the male nude body. It is hilarious.
And they do not hold back.
Yes. Which, hey, just in general, just a lot of just fucking naked people on this movie.
Because he's doing drugs and having orgies, basically.
Of course. Tim Meadows is on the floor getting down with 2 women.
He's trying to anyway. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Get out the phone. I'm trying to get down.
Okay, well, I don't want to just spend another couple hours because, like I said, we will just keep regurgitating
There's so
this
many
movie
things
because
to talk
it's so
about.
funny.
Yeah.
But I know you have at least one more thing you want to talk about before we wrap this up.
I have one more thing here, and it's really not about the movie. It's about the fact that I have gone to a lot of rock concerts in my life, and when he's going to be on stage after Elvis, okay? So Elvis brings the house down. By the way, it's Jack fucking White.
Of course it is.
As Elvis. Elvis wants to leave early, so he wants to go on before Dewey Cox goes on. And you know, it's fucking Elvis. Of course, he's going to have everything. It's going to be the big finale. You as an audience member are programmed to be satisfied with the headliner. After the headliner is done and they've done all their encores, you're programmed to say, okay, I'm done. That was amazing. Let's get the fuck out of here. But in this case, Dewey Cox is going to go back on. And even though he's basically just as good as Elvis in this movie, but in my mind, I would love to have the option to have like a come down act, if I can say it like that.
So if you get the high, the rush of whoever it was you were going to see.
Whoever the headliner is, they're up there. They do their entire set. They have the encore. You had a great night. Good night, everybody. It was great to see you. But then another act comes out as not necessarily like more intenser, is probably even less intense. I want to come down off of that high.
A good band, but not as good as the headliner.
Yes.
So that you can like slowly be like, okay, I can go home now.
Yeah, the equivalent of an opening band, but it's an ending band.
You want a closing band.
So for the people who don't want to see we go to so many concerts, Betsy, where people just show up for the headliner and don't even bother showing up for the opening bands. That sucks.
You gotta go.
You are depriving yourself of maybe some of your best fucking music that you've ever discovered. And you get to see them live.
Less than 2 years ago, Chapel Roan was opening for people, and look where she is now.
Absolutely.
And guess what? I guarantee there are people out there who skipped Chapel Roan to see the headliner, and they are kicking themselves now. That is why you never, ever skip the opener, because you are missing out on some great fucking music. That's all I have to say about that.
So in this scenario, the closing band would be just as skippable for the people like that, those assholes. But me not wanting to have the day be over, I want to come down off of this high from seeing my favorite band perform. Why not see some more stuff and I can leave whenever the fuck I want? But no, that was all I really had. Again, there are so many other things that we are not covering here. I don't want this episode to be 5 hours long. But suffice it to say, I am very, very pleased with myself and only myself for choosing this movie to cover today.
I like that you were talking like I was digging my heels in and refused to watch this movie.
No,
like I am the villain here.
No, you're not.
I am not the villain here. I was just pointing out that this is a weird transition because last week was a complete unknown and next week's going to be an Oscar movie.
Yes.
But if you liked this transition, we would love for you to tell us. Send us your thoughts at neverseenapod@gmail.com.
What's your favorite biopic, real or not?
Or maybe you just saw one of the many movies that we mentioned. Or maybe you're watching this movie with the home game for the very first time. The Never Seen It home game where you listen to our intro, watch the movie, and then come and listen to our episode. We highly recommend it. It's a fun game.
We play it every week.
We did get an email from our superfan Stephanie about a couple of movies that she recently watched. She sent us an email called Furiosa and Launch into Oscar Season. She says, Furiosa is on Netflix, and it was just okay. I was also disappointed to see an increase in CGI. I liked the beginning, but then it slowed way down and I fell asleep.
Ooh, that sucks.
When I woke up, the kid was suddenly Anya Taylor-Joy, and it was fine, but not awesome. Overall, I was not impressed.
If I remember right, when we did our episode about Furiosa, I also was falling asleep in the first part of that movie.
I feel like you are correct. I know you said that about a movie we did last year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
And I'm pretty sure it was that one, and you didn't fully fall asleep, but you were close.
I was bored. How the fuck can you be bored in a Furiosa movie?
You're not allowed to bore me. Like when I'm watching a movie, especially if I went to the theater for it, I will be furious if I fall asleep.
That is one of the rules of cinema for me. I remember when we covered the movie Make, one of the first 10 episodes, I said in that episode, you are not allowed to bore me as an Oscar caliber movie. I was bored with Mank. I was bored with Furiosa.
Well, speaking of Oscar caliber movies, she has more to say in this email. Oscar nominations have been announced. Because I try to watch the Best Picture, Acting, and Screenplay nominations, that makes 14 movies.
That's a lot.
And I have only seen Wicked and Amelia Perez.
Oh boy.
So 12 to go. I will probably watch Dune Part 2 since it was on Netflix too. Looks like you guys don't have many more to watch. Anywho, love you guys from Superfan Stephanie.
Yes, because we plan ahead.
This year, I feel like we're actually pretty accurate in being able to get a jump on things, but
We got lucky.
There were some surprises as far as what we were figuring was gonna get nominated, or just basically as an industry, like we had been hearing, okay, it might be this movie, it might be this movie. There was kind of a lot of things up in the air for like the final 3 or so spots.
Yeah, like there were about 5 movies that were like for sure bets they were gonna get nominated. And then the other 5 were, okay, it's a toss-up.
So we'll talk more about that in just a minute, but thank you again, Stephanie, for sending that email. We look forward to hearing about your extensive journey that you're about to go on, since you've got a lot more movies than we do to cover at this time.
And even if your name is not Stephanie, please email us, send us messages on social media. All those links are in the podcast description. Follow us over there, send us messages over there. We will eventually read all of the stuff that we get, as long as it's, better than love the movie.
Elaborate on your thoughts.
Please.
We would like to know, what does that mean?
There's no limit on what you can send us.
Yeah, we want
It's
to hear.
the internet.
We want to hear what you actually think about movies, because we're interested. And sometimes, if you have a counter opinion to ours, we would like to understand that opinion as well, because movies are extremely subjective. And I like to hear from somebody who felt differently. Like, if you hate this movie, tell us you hate it and tell us exactly why. Neverseenitpod@gmail.com. Like Trent said, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, wherever you want to send us a message. If you have not had enough of this chaotic nonsense, you can also go over to patreon.com/neverseenitpod. We have got a number of other shows that you can listen to. We just started a brand new one called Never Scream It 101. If you're into horror, we're going to be covering a lot of iconic horror movies, a lot of newer horror movies. We don't really know yet. Right now, we're kind of doing the foundational ones so that we understand better what it is about this genre that people love.
We are giving ourselves an education in horror of all of the foundational movies that have been around for decades.
So that site again, patreon.com/neverseenitpod, $5 a month gets you all of those episodes. Now, as we said, we are in the midst of Oscar season. We have 3 more weeks to go. And then on the 4th week, it is Oscar Sunday, where we will have our 5th annual, Trent.
That's right.
Number 5, our 5th annual Oscar special. And we are so excited because some of these movies have not been easy to get for the remaining movies we have to watch. And one of them is finally playing in our area. So next week, we are going to pick up where we left off on the Best Picture nominees. And we are going to be watching The Brutalist, the longest movie in this entire series.
The longest movie we will have covered to date.
Just in general.
Yes.
If you go back to every single one, this is the longest movie.
And only the second one that has ever had an intermission. But we'll talk about that next week.
That's right, we will. So until then, this has been another episode of Never Seen It. We thank you for listening. My name is Betsy.
My name's Trent.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.